here we go again. Disney 要被自己戳塞了. This time, it's one of the most beloved brands, Star Wars. A few weeks ago, Disney dropped their new series, The Acolyte, which after 3 episodes saw the audience score drop from 38% to 14%.
Terrible!
Terrible! 这个超级女权、超级政治正确的节目 is being attacked by everyone, especially women. And the person who spent 4 years writing, creating, and directing the series, Leslie Headland, who you probably never heard of before, but her former boss you definitely have. Check it. Homegirl's first job was serving as a personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein, which for those of you who may not know, this troll-like figure is the guy who kicked off the entire Me Too 活动. Once responsible for some of the biggest films in movie history, this guy is the 好莱坞 OG 色魔, yo. And Leslie Headland was right by his side. And today, you're gonna find out just how chill, how gay-bi this queer, non-binary person is. How she exploited and manipulated feminism to rewrite, uproot, and completely destroy the Star Wars franchise. So prepare your popcorn and hold on tight to your phone, yo, because this one is gonna be a very bumpy ride. And by the end, you are gonna be completely pissed.
Yes, yes.
So at the end of last year, South Park went in hard on the president of Star Wars, Kathleen Kennedy, and her ridiculous SOP by creating the most epic meme ever.
Put a ticket in and make her name it gay!
And although it might have been Kathleen who created this SOP, Disney and Marvel followed suit as well. But let me tell you, The Acolyte takes this ridiculousness to the next level, yo. This is a show about all-powerful lesbian witches who somehow managed to be victims.
The galaxy is not a place that welcomes women like us. Witches who have the abilities we do.
Now, having watched this show myself, I have to say the CGI is very impressive and the fight choreography is really badass. But by the time you get to episode 3, 20 minutes of a 40-minute story is completely occupied by lesbian preaching. Not only that, but they went and they turned the whole idea of George Lucas's Force theory upside down.
Some call it a force and claim to use it. But we know that is not a power you wield. It ties you to your destiny.
Are you fucking kidding me?
And this caused the internet and some of the largest YouTubers to completely lose their shit.
This is just how things are gonna be now. Star Wars isn't gonna be saved by anyone. It's not gonna go back to the way it was, and it's not gonna improve in any meaningful way because there's no one left with the will or the talent to do it.
So bad that now even Forbes calls it one of the most disappointing Star Wars episodes ever made.
Has there ever been a single instance where telling the audience that they're wrong about something causes the audience to be like, wait, what? Is it me? I'm the bad guy all along?
Even when you have characters I think could work pretty well, they just can't write them well, unfortunately.
As what you knew before is not correct. The thread is the correct lore. Yeah. It's not gonna piss fans off.
So this 超级 gay-bi 假女权节目 is smuggling the ideology that you should hate men and that women don't need them at all. All they need is each other. And they do this very subtly. Check it. There are no male protagonists on this show. Well, that is unless you count the Korean guy from Squid Games, whose appearance is very soft and very feminine in that all Asian men are non-threatening, non-sexual, peaceful creatures Hollywood stereotype way. And the few male side characters that appear are pretty much idiotic brutes, backstabbing side characters, or borderline useless NPCs. But the female characters, antagonists included, are
Perfect in every way because they are all victims of the one evil thing.
The patriarchy.
The galaxy is not a place that welcomes women like us.
Fun fact, I like lesbians. We got a lot in common. I got 3 of them in my family, and we talk sometimes. And the one thing we universally agree upon is our dislike for people who think they're special, narcissistic, and feel the need to preach and indoctrinate every single person around them. I don't care if you're man, woman, non-binary, lesbian, gay, or trans. If you have a very interesting character, on screen, the audience will like you. Don't believe me? Check out Netflix's Blue Eye Samurai, or even Shogun, which was on Disney Plus's platform. These are well-written, strong, independent characters who just happen to be women. And although I'm a straight man, I actually empathize with these characters more than I did the male ones. In fact, I don't even remember half of the male characters' names. This is what happens when you create a character based on who they are as a person and not what is or isn't between their legs. So shows like She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, and the Acolyte think they can just gender swap a couple of characters, have them shit on men in the name of female empowerment, and call it good writing?
Are you high or just incredibly stupid?
All under the fake-ass guise of feminism. Speaking of female empowerment, you would think someone who created a show like this would surround themselves with people who are like-minded and also are heavily invested in making women look good on camera, right?
Yes, yes.
Well, the next chapter, I'm gonna show you how someone so gay bi, so chill deal, so 政治正确, once upon a time called Hollywood's biggest sermor their father. So before we get started on Leslie Headland, let me introduce you to her little friend, Harvey Weinstein. Back in the day, this guy was the most successful movie producer in all of Hollywood. It all started when he created his own movie company, Miramax, which gave us some epic classics like Pulp Fiction, Django Unchained, Silver Linings Playbook, Shakespeare in Love, and Memoirs of a Geisha. All these movies were huge hits all around the world. I'm willing to bet some of you even watched a few of these films. So back in its heyday, Miramax's reputation was synonymous with Hollywood success. But by 2017, it would have a very different reputation and a very different realm. The courtroom. By that time, a lot of women came forward with sexual assault allegations and harassment allegations against Harvey Weinstein over the course of 30 years. And on his hairy, smelly, acne-ridden back, the Me Too movement was born. And it served as a benchmark for toxic masculinity, the patriarchy, and every single thing that was wrong with men.
Yes.
According to fake feminists anyway. And now we cue in Leslie Headland, who worked at Miramax for 6 years, alongside Harvey Weinstein as his personal assistant. Although she claims she only worked with him for 1 year. But you would think when the Me Too movement was at its peak, women would be banding together. Strength in numbers, right?
The power of many.
When things were popping off, Leslie Headland kept her mouth shut, claiming that she didn't know anything about what Harvey Weinstein did. She just brought him his coffee. She barely even knew the guy. So it was impossible for her to witness any assault-like behavior, right?
That is such a crock of shit.
Long before 2017, Harvey Weinstein being a sermor was an open Hollywood secret. Kurt Cobain's wife outed him in the 1990s. Even Brad Pitt grabbed this dude by the neck and threatened to fuck him up if he touched his wife. But that's a story for another time. If you want to know more, leave a comment down below. And here's where things get a little tricky. You see, one of Leslie Headland's first screenplays was based on her time at Miramax under Harvey Weinstein. And the way she portrayed him was as this horrible, abusive, angry man. So you would think whenever she gets up on a podcast and is asked about her tenure there, 她应该没有什么好话说，对吧?
I mean, you know, Harvey is definitely like my estranged dad that I absolutely love, and he loves me, you know, like, but we're also like very wary of each other. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, he's like, I'm very proud of you. You know what I mean? Like with the emails.
You know where the bodies are buried.
Yeah. And I'm like, thanks, Dad. You know, like, it's like, you know, I mean, I think the truth is, and I think he always knew this about me, was that I really loved him. Like, and I don't think that someone who's that powerful and that intense, like, can really accept adoration, like the kind of adoration that I gave him. He's wonderful to me, and I think he will continue to be a big part of my career and my life as an artist. When Pulp Fiction came out, which was like 94, so I was about 13 years old, I actually thought as a 13-year-old, I swear to God, I didn't think like I want to be Tarantino or I want to be like Uma Thurman. I thought, I want to know who the guy is who's making me want to watch this movie.
Whoa.
Do you know what I mean? I was like, who's that guy? Like, there must be a person that had that idea.
That's
do you know
a
what I
job.
mean?
Yeah.
That's a job. And, like, maybe I want to do that. But it became a joke where people would say, like, who do you want to be when you grow up? And people would be like, you know, Meryl Streep, or I want to be Kubrick, or I want to be Wes Anderson. And I would say, I want to be Harvey Weinstein. You know, like, that would be the... You know, and everyone would sort of go, you know, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
So fast forward, like, 10 years, and I'm working for Harvey personally. Yeah, he was yelling at me about something that I'm sure I f***ed up, by the way. Like, I was a horrible assistant. I probably forgot to do something. And he said, why are you even working here?
Yeah.
You know, he was like, you're a creative person. Like, why are you even fucking working here? Like, you're wasting my time. Like, what are you doing? Why shit you not? I said, because you're my hero. And there was just like this dead silence on the other side. Dead silence. And he was like, Jesus Christ.
那有可能我英文没有那么好，有可能我没有听清楚，有可能我误会了。What I just heard is that she absolutely loved this nigga. She wanted to be like this guy. He was her 偶像. Well, it seems like she succeeded, because where Harvey Weinstein represented the patriarchy, Leslie Headland is now representing the gaytriarchy.
Well, I get it. It's very clever.
She just switched that shit up from male oppression to lesbian queer oppression and preaching.
Because this is, I would say, arguably the gayest Star Wars, I think, by a considerable
It's pretty gay, let's be honest.
Is it going to be a talking point?
I'm sure some.
Because nerds are gay.
Well, some nerds are very not gay and are very threatened by gay
Well, that's
stuff.
true. But in my world, nerds are gay.
Okay.
People have told me that it's the gayest Star Wars, and I'm frankly into it. No.
I think that Star Wars is so gay already.
Okay.
And are you telling me, with a straight face, that C-3PO is straight?
They're a couple. That's what I think. But this is more outward.
I think it's canon that R2-D2 is a lesbian.
Well, if you ask me, it's pretty clear that Leslie doesn't just admire Harvey Weinstein, she admires the patriarchy. Because if you watch just one episode of The Acolyte, you won't see female characters with feminine traits, you'll see a bunch of men with titties preaching to the audience. And in the next chapter, you're also gonna find out that one of the main writers of this series had never even watched Star Wars. Now, I know in Taiwanese culture, Star Wars might not have as big an impact as it does in us Americans, because for us, it is a cultural phenomenon, yo. From its character arcs, to its worlds, to even the languages that were created for it. Star Wars could be its own field of study, yo. But let me try to find a parallel that you might understand. Qilongzhu. Imagine if someone had never seen a single episode of Qilongzhu, never even read a single manga, but then they want to come out and claim that they know shit. And the moment they get something wrong, the internet is on them like flies on shit. Now, Leslie Headland understands this fact very well, but in spite of this, she does something so bold as to hire a senior writer for The Acolyte who's never seen a single episode or film of Star Wars.
Yeah, I just thought it would be good to have a perspective of a person that literally never seen Star Wars until she was in the room. And she said to me, "Why do you want me in this room? I've never seen Star Wars. I have no idea. I think there's a dog in it, but I don't know anything." And I was like, first of all, you're an incredible writer, but that's why I want you here. I want you to be questioning narrative. I don't want myself, who's a lifelong fan, to just be relying on particular references in order to create emotional beats. I want those emotional beats to be earned and checked by someone that isn't super familiar with it.
Yeah, Leslie Headland might claim that she's a lifelong Star Wars fan, but I am not buying it at all. Because in The Acolyte, the only Star Wars element you see is a lightsaber. They even changed what the Force means, yo. Man, you take away the lightsabers, and this is just a lesbian space cult revenge story. And you need to prepare yourself and hold on tight to your phone, because what I'm about to play for you next is gonna be the most arrogant, ridiculous thing you have ever heard.
This is like what we understand to be Star Wars, like the idea that like that only came from George Lucas, like that only George Lucas holds the key for what we understand to be Star Wars is just untrue. The idea that like when you're hiring a director, that everyone is sitting in there waiting for George Lucas and not for the person who's gonna know to hire Ralph McQuarrie, that's the problem. That's the misogyny and the problem with the auteur myth as it stands today, because they're not thinking this is the person that will hire the right people and this is the person that will be able to create the lookbooks and direct people to get them to that place. They're just thinking, do you have all the answers? And the truth is that nobody does, and anybody that says they do is lying.
I mean, my God! How much more can you stink?
Hey, the first frame of every Star Wars film and series is the Lucasfilm title. And Lucas is the last name of the guy who created the series. But what Leslie is saying is that the guy who created the world, the characters, and the stories of Star Wars doesn't have the right to decide what's what, because that's misogyny?
Yes, yes.
Dude, when I showed this clip to Aoi, he completely lost his shit. He literally yelled at the screen. I mean, why didn't Homegirl take a page out of Zack Snyder's book and go create her own space opera with lesbians and queer characters and trans characters? Actually, I'd be down for that, but by distorting feminism and taking the long, hard work of one single man and crushing it all in the name of diversity has now resulted in ruining the childhood of many Americans. Good. That would be like a queer Japanese writer coming about and saying,
Akira Toriyama, he's dead now. And Dragon Ball Z shouldn't be decided by a man, because that would be misogyny. So I'm gonna create a prequel to fix everything. And now the 7 Dragon Balls are actually 7 Kegel Balls, forged from the fire and blood of the menstrual cycle of 7 space lesbian dragons.
Finally, someone who gets it!
这样子应该合理吧？你觉得怎样？ Leave a comment down below. So if you ask me, Homegirl is just a straight up leech. she don't give a fuck about Star Wars. I mean, she hired someone who'd never even seen Star Wars till the day of to create a prequel that either completely removes elements of Star Wars or completely destroys it. I mean, the Force is now a thread to be wielded by a lesbian space cult?
Yes, yes.
When you watch this next bit, it will all be clear.
You know, young filmmakers, especially young women, ask me, you know, if I want to become a filmmaker, what do I do? You know, I'm always like, when that happens, say yes. Don't say, I don't know how to make a movie, because men don't say that. Dudes roll out of film school, throw on a Spielberg hat, and go, I know everything that I'm doing. And the reality is that you can do it. Like, you just have to have the confidence to walk in there and pretend like you know how to do it. I'm telling you guys, like, the truth. Like, that's how I made my first film, was that I was like, I know what's going on. I didn't at all. And I think it shows in the movie. But I got to make my first one, which helped me to make my second one. And the second one will help me make the third one. And then I stopped because they won't let women make more than 3.
To put it simply, as long as you're a woman, confident or not, as long as you have the confidence, you can use deception to get what you want. To me, this harms all women. Bad, yo. The message she is sending to young, ambitious women is that as long as you're a woman, you don't need skills, yo. You just need the power of one.
The power of many.
So Leslie's show, which is reeking of incompetence and arrogance, is now receiving a ton of backlash, and Disney is pissed. And you would think the object of Disney's anger would be Leslie herself. After all, she created it, right? Wrong. According to Disney, there was only one group of people to blame for the show's failure. You. So when The Little Mermaid failed at the box office, according to Disney, it's not because it was a shit movie, it's all because of That's racist! And when Captain Marvel 2, Echo, She-Hulk, or The Acolyte fails to get viewers, it's not because it's a crap show, it's all because of
homophobic, racist, transphobic, and anti-woman.
But according to a study, there's one group of people who hate these shows even more than men. Women. Check it. According to this graph, these shows, which are created for the sole purpose of attracting female viewers, are actually the least watched by women. In fact, 80% of their viewership is men. So what are the women watching? The Mandalorian and Loki. 2 shows who both have male protagonists. So it would seem to me that Disney, Marvel, and the president of Lucasfilm either have no clue or don't give a fuck about what women want. Which is why they continue to make shows which gender swap, race swap, and hire directors and creators who are 超级小彩虹 with the sole purpose of trying to educate and indoctrinate people. The audience be damned.
Yes.
If you ask me, the women viewers probably want the exact same thing that the men viewers want. A good show with good character development and a good goddamn story. But that's just me. I could be wrong. And now with over half of our viewership of this channel being women, I'm curious to know what you guys think about these shows. Do you actually watch them? Do you think they're good? Do you think they make women look good? Let me know down below. Remember to like, comment, keep it civil, share this video with your friends, and I will see you on the flip side. Peace!